however, a good friend to the movement and someone to raise the spirits. A great musician to boot. It's the fabulous, the one and only Penny Stone. How great to see you, Penny.
Hello. I'll pretend that you're all, I can hear you all and see you all. Well, I can see 5 of you. Does that count? We usually have a bigger rally than 5, don't we?
Yeah. But I mean, look at it. We can all make enough noise for 10 each.
All right, I've got a couple of songs for you today. We're going to sing this one together. And obviously, you can mime if you like, and I won't know. But sing along with This Is Which Side Are You On? And it's just a couple of new verses that Shireen, fellow singer with Protest and Harmony, wrote on Workers' Memorial Day just a couple of days ago. And I thought now was the time to sing it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do each verse twice, so you can pick it up on the second one. So you'll know the first one because it's one of the classics heading back to Massachusetts. Was it Massachusetts? That Which Side Are You On was written in Massachusetts? I think one of the big mill walks out. Shireen can correct me on the chat if she if I'm mistaken on that one. Come gather round, you people, you women and you men. Once more our backs are to the wall. We're being attacked again. Which side are you on? 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 I know you're all on the wrong side. You're all on the side of the health workers that need, well, not just the health workers, all the frontline workers that need proper protection. So it's come gather round, you people, you women and you men. Once more our backs are to the wall. We're being attacked again. Come gather round, you people, you women and you men. Once more our backs are to the wall. We're being attacked again. Which side are you on? 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 Our workers' rights are not for sale for the sake of corporate greed. This pandemic is our wake-up call. It's a warning we must heed. Which side are you on? 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 So have a go at that one. Our workers' rights are not for sale for the sake of corporate greed. This pandemic is our wake-up call. It's a warning we must heed. Our workers' rights are not for sale for the sake of corporate greed. This pandemic is our wake-up call. It's a warning we must heed. Which side are you on? 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 A fair day's work for a fair day's pay is every worker's right. Come join together, one and all, the future's in our sight. Which side are you on? 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 That's a fair day's work for a fair day's pay is every worker's right. Come join together, one and all, the future's in our sight, and it's the future that we were just hearing about, the possibility of a different normal based on resources that, you know, that have a limit and everybody getting their fair share. So just take that future in your sight and we'll sing it. A fair day's work for a fair day's pay. A fair day's work for a fair day's pay is every worker's right. Come join together, one and all, the future's in our sight. Which side are you on? 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 Thank you. I saw some people singing along, and I know Shireen's corrected me because Massachusetts was the bread and roses, wasn't it? Where is she? Where is she? Kentucky. There you are. It was the miners' union. Early 20th century, anyway, that one harks back to, but we've used it on a hell of a lot of campaigns ever since. And I've got a new song for you just now. I just read a post a couple of weeks ago on Facebook, The Joys of Social Media, about Florence Nightingale, and it was entitled The Lady with the Hammer, and I thought, oh, hello, that's not what you usually hear. It's usually The Lady with the Lamp, and that piqued my interest, and I went down a rabbit warren of geeking out on Florence Nightingale, thinking I'll just write a tiny wee song for May Day because it's very pertinent. And so bicentennial, it would have been her 200th, well, I say it would have been her 200th, it's imaginary 200th birthday on the 12th of May, which is International Nurses day, on the 12th of May, sorry. And the more I read about her life and what she did, the parallels were just unreal about what's happening here. And I wrote down what I was going to tell you about her, because I was at risk of just, you know, waxing lyrical and giving you a mini lecture that nobody asked for about Florence Nightingale. But there's just a few bits that I would like to tell you before I sing you the song, so that you have a sense of where she was coming from. She was born rich. She was born into privilege, and she wanted to become a nurse. She felt a calling from God. I think lots of women did that to get to do things out of the ordinary back then. She had a calling from God to become a nurse, and her family were heavily set against it. They thought that it was, you know, you could maybe give charity to the poor people, but you mustn't touch them, dear. You know, that sort of like patronising. Well, am I allowed to swear on the Zoom May Day rally? Patronising bullshit. And that's a thumbs up from Susan. and what she did, they didn't let her do any sort of training, but she learned herself. She did a bit of self-taught nursing, which is sort of how it went then, unless you were a nun. And she started giving basic healthcare to people that lived in the local village, people that worked in the local mills, and just trying to get some sort of healthcare support access to people who wouldn't have got it then. We're talking the pre-NHS. She would have been a huge supporter of the NHS. And ultimately, she got trained, later in her life, she got trained nurses going into the workhouses to give medical care to people who had absolutely nothing. So the famous thing that you'll probably know about her is that she volunteered to go to Crimea, and she worked in a Turkish hospital working as a nurse to help the soldiers, many injured soldiers that were there in the 1850, I want to say 54, it might have been 55. And the thing that I found fascinating was that the thing that she did there, we know, oh, the lady with the lamp, and wasn't she caring, and wasn't she an epitome of Victorian feminine qualities? Brilliant, well done her. No, what she did was she set up systems. She set up a triage system that put the people who had been most badly injured first, in line to medical care. And until she'd got there, all they did was treat the officers first. Didn't matter how badly injured you were. If you were a higher rank, you got the medical care first. And she turned that up on its head and set the nurses up with a triage system. And there were a lot of complaints about that. And she said to them, any officer who doesn't like it can do without any care at all. She was quite a strident woman. There was an incident with toast. There were huge complaints about the officers not getting their toast on time. And she said, I'm feeding the patients, get over yourselves. You'll get your toast when I've fed the patients. And then we got this sort of image of her as a lady of the lamp, because one of the things she did do was that late at night, after she'd done all of the rounds, that she would go round the soldiers in the hospital, and she would write down letters from them to their family members. And often they were last letters, because a lot of people died. So there was a compassionate element to what she was doing. But the other thing that she was doing, she was counting the dead. They didn't even count the people that died, the soldiers that died, and they didn't count or log any data about how or why they died. And that's the thing that she did. She was this awesome statistician, and she counted everything. She got all of the nurses doing the sort of charts that we have now in nursing in hospitals, that mean that we're tracking everything that goes slightly up and goes slightly down, so then we can look back and see how and why people died. And she discovered, through doing this statistical data collecting, I'm nearly done, stay with me, I'm going to sing to you in a minute, that she discovered that most people were dying from diseases, not from war wounds, and that the big problem was sanitation. And ultimately a sanitation committee was sent out, and they cleaned up the hospital, and the deaths went down by about 80%. So we were sold, the Victorians were sold this image of her as this compassionate woman, to help us to look away from the fact that the government hadn't given adequate supplies, weren't supporting the healthcare sufficiently, and weren't doing the right thing. And that parallel to me just now is too much. So she founded modern nursing as we know it today, professional nursing. She founded that at St Thomas's Hospital in London, which is still a huge teaching hospital. And this morning, nurses from that hospital had to go and block the road at Westminster Bridge with signs saying, "We are not disposable, give us decent PPE," to call for the things that Florence Nightingale was calling for 150 years ago. So it seems really pertinent that we should remember her and feel her solidarity and disappointment today. So this is the lady with the hammer. Why the hammer? Because she if she didn't, the military officers wouldn't give her the medical supplies she needed, she would break into the stores and take them. Yes, she would, and she stares them down. They would come on their clip clop on their horses and say, "What are you doing with that, medical supplies?" And she would just stare at them until they moved on, and then she would take her medical supplies and help the people get better when she could. Right, this has got a chorus for you. We've got the lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp. She shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. So that last line is, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. She really was quite a radical. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, try it. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. So let's have those two lines again. Lady with the hammer, lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. It'll come up often enough, it's a chorus, so do join in. The other piece of information I neglected to give you was that she got people to send personal effects to the soldiers in the hospital in Turkey, including jam and knitted socks. And the military they wanted to sell them so that they could just give them ordinary rations, and she managed to stop them from doing that, so that people got their woolly socks from mummy or sis or whoever it was. Florence Nightingale was born to privilege, but she saw beyond a better way that we could help each other make it through. Wherever you were born, whatever work you earn a living from, that woman would stare an army down to get you what you need. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. Collect the data, crunch the numbers, use the information that you find to make the politicians change the way they make decisions. Evidence and reason thinking, strategies and systems tweaking, everything we do could help the many, not the few. Lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. Sanitation, that's the thing to keep as many people living. Wash your hands and wash your hands and wash your hands again. Write a letter, send a pair of socks you knitted for a friend, and take the time to listen when you can. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. Break down the doors of all the stores that hoard the things supplied for all. Redistribute to those who need it more. And when those greedy, selfish men tell you there's nothing you can do, just stand your ground and keep on moving through. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could understand. The lady with the hammer, the lady with the lamp, she shone a light into the darkness so that we could sweep it out. I hope you were singing along. Were you singing along? Right. There's been a lot of talk about internationalism and, of course, the climate connection and what's happening globally just now to human beings reminds us of that so strongly. And you can see, mirroring. You can see I've got my CND sign behind me. So I'm here partly on behalf of Edinburgh CND, and it's really simple. It's really, really simple. Don't spend the money on Trident, spend it on healthcare and public services. Like, it's that simple. We can get sustainable jobs, we can get climate-friendly jobs, we can employ people to use their skills for better things. So we're going to have a rousing chorus of Bella Ciao. Fascism is on the rise and we need to stay alert. I'm going to sing the Italian version. You can sing whatever version you like. If you want to la 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 and Bella Ciao on the Bella Ciao bit, you can do that. Una mattina mi son svegliato, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi son svegliato e ho trovato l'invaso, un partigiano, portami via. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. E se io muoio da partigiano, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire lassù in montagna. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Mi seppellire lassù in montagna, sotto l'ombra di un bel fiore, e le genti che passeranno. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E le genti che passeranno mi diranno che bel fiore, che il fiore del partigiano. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Che il fiore del partigiano, porto per la libertà.